For this demo, I basically just took the while demo and converted it to a for. You can see that initializing I to 2 and in fact declaring I has been moved into the initializer of the for. The condition to check whether I is less than or equal to x divided by I is the condition of the loop, and the last line of the previous while loop is now the loop expression to increment the I. The body of the loop is the same. I already have the break in it so that we don't keep going after finding a factor. And then the if statement afterwards to print out prime or not prime is exactly the same as the while demo. So if I run this and start with a compound number like 12, factor found, 12 is not prime, run it again. This time I'll use 17, 17 is prime. So the results are the same, and it's almost just a matter of style or expressivity, whether you want to use a for loop or a while loop. Each one of them can do the same thing, which is to execute a particular piece of code over and over again. I want to take a moment though to show you about scope. If I try here to print out the value of I, you can see that I have a compiler error. If I hover, it says identifier I is undefined. And people say, well, that's crazy. It's all over the place on lines, 16 through 21. And it is. But those are all in the scope of the for loop. And as soon as that close brace that ends the for loop has happened, I is now out of scope and cannot be used anymore. Sometimes people want that value, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. All you got to do then is declare the variable before the loop. Now my initializer only gives it a value, and you can see down here the compilation error has gone away, and it will actually print out the last value of I. Let's quickly run it to show you. I'll do 4. So it prints out factor found 2 times 2, and there's a little 2 floating in space, and then it says 4 is not prime, and that little 2 floating in space is the value of I when the loop was finished, because that's called break after finding the factor. If I do it again with 5, you can see a little 3 floating in space. We went through the loop for 2, didn't find a factor, came up and incremented I to 3. 3 is not less than 5 divided by 2, so the loop didn't execute again, and 3 was what got printed out after the loop. If you want your loop variable to be in scope after the loop, declare your loop variable before the loop, as you see here. But the more idiomatic approach is to say, I only need it for the loop, I don't need it after the loop, and so I'll declare it right within the loop initializer.